Anyone passing through downtown Salt Lake has probably seen the main library. It's kind of hard to miss considering that it takes up an entire block. Made up of massive windows and a giant external staircase, the building represents the city's dedication to its library system. Let's travel back to 1898, when the first free and public library opened in the city. If we pivot from the current main library, we see the Salt Lake City and County building. That was the home of the city's first free public library. At the time of its establishment, that library had a core collection of almost 12,000 books. Salt Lake City fully embraced the public library system, and the city and county building quickly overflowed. At this point, leadership decided that the library needed its own building. The new building, aptly called the Free Public Library, opened on State Street in 1905. It operated as the city's main library through the 1960s, but these days it houses a jewelry store. From 1906 through the 60s, the city library system continued growing, and branch after branch was built to keep up. Then, in a repeat of its early years, the library outgrew its home. To keep up with the growth, 2 library board members spearheaded an effort to buy a site to build a new main library. This new home would be at 209 East and 500 South. The building opened in 1964 and served as the main library for several decades. Nowadays, it houses the Leonardo, a well-known art and science museum. So as decades passed, history repeated itself. Branches continued to be built and expanded in order to keep up with the library system's rapid growth. And once again, the main library outgrew its building. That brings us to 1998. 100 years after the city's first public library opened, voters approved an $84 million bond to build a new main library. Located at 210 East, 400 South, the site is just a stone's throw away from the old main library. Everything on that city block, except for the old main library, was demolished, and in 2003, the current main library opened to the public. This version of the main library is 5 stories tall and spans over 200,000 square feet. It's a far cry from the first free public library in Salt Lake. Today, the city library system has almost 4 million items in circulation each year. We did the math. That's over 300 times more items than what the first free public library had in its main collection. With 125 years worth of history and hundreds of thousands of square feet to consider, there's still a lot left of the main library for you to explore.